It was Cafe Nero, and I had my laptop, and it was literally blank. So I had no clients, no candidates, no like website, nothing. And it was like, where do I start?
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to yet another podcast. I'm really excited to share this one with you. I'm with a good friend of mine, James, who is a 7-figure mentor. He has his own recruitment agency and he does so much more. We actually met because I was doing some filming for one of his masterminds a while back, and since then, you know, we've just got to know each other a little bit more. We became friends, and guys, today I wanted to just get him on the show to sort of pick his brains, hopefully share some golden nuggets with everyone who's watching, and sort of give everyone an insight into what he does and how he's made his success, and of course why he's in Dubai, because it's a big thing, you know, for most people understanding why you've came to Dubai out of everywhere you can choose to live in the world. So James, first of all, I'd like to introduce you to everyone, and please go ahead.
Yeah, hi everyone, my name is James Blackwell, as Joe mentioned in terms of the intro. So my background is I started in business, probably over 12 years ago now. I specialise really in the recruitment industry, so I successfully built up a recruitment agency from scratch, scaled that all the way to 7 figures. That still runs today. I think it's 8 years in now, and that's out in the UK. And then I moved over to Dubai around about 18 months ago. My main core business now is I mentor other business owners and help them scale from 6 to 7 figures. So I have like an online program, in-person mastermind, and yeah, like I'm here probably, like I said, 18 months ago, and looking forward to the interview.
Amazing. But James, take us back, you know, because obviously, you know, you tell us like now where you are, you've made your success now, you're living in Dubai, you're living a great life, but as we both know, you had to start somewhere. You started from the ground upwards. Take us back to when, you know, you started out. What sort of sparked the business inspiration?
Yeah, I think even from like a young age, Joe, like I was always money orientated, so I was always wheeling and dealing, whether it was like selling sweets and pop, similar type of stories for entrepreneurs at schools. I had like 2-3 paper rounds, I had jobs on a weekend, and then I started like when I was like 16, 17, I started going to the car auction. That was like my first like flavour of like making money and doing a bit of business. So I used to like flip cars, I used to buy like little run around cars and then try and sell them on my mum's front drive, which she wasn't too happy about because she'd have people knocking on the door all the time. And that's how I started. And then back when I was like 20, 21, I had a coffee shop that was quite successful, I think, for the first 2 years. And recession came, like I think back 2006, back then. And that was my first taste of business, and also business failure, because I scaled it up, but I realized there was no one there to help me. So there was no mentors. There wasn't really any YouTube back then or people you could learn from. Banks wouldn't lend you any money. But it was a good lesson for me. And then after that, I went into the car business. So I actually sold cars for BMW. So I think that was around about when I was like 23,
So you
24.
became one of those car salesmen trying to sell me BMW, yeah?
Typical car salesman. Yeah. And that was interesting because you learn all the fundamentals of sales, building rapport, and you met like quite a lot of cool customers. But I was stuck there like probably for 4 or 5 years where you couldn't really earn a lot of money as a car salesman, really. And I got an opportunity to work in a recruitment agency, and what I didn't realize back then was recruitment is pretty much high-level sales, just like you are in real estate. It's very, very similar, very cutthroat. There's a lot of cold calling, a lot of like hustling where you don't get any rewards, and it's just long-term input, and eventually you start to see those rewards. And I started there at a big recruitment agency, and I worked all the way up from like just a trainee to a manager of that business. And then by then, that's when I really got the bug to, I always wanted to work for myself. Like I struggled to work for other people. Like I could respect other leaders, but I always wanted bigger and better things because I always wanted to be a multi-millionaire, and I had big goals. So I started my business, my recruitment agency back in 2015. Pretty much I literally had no savings. I had a £10,000 credit card that I could exercise, and I took out a £10,000 personal loan at the time, and literally started from a kitchen table and went to a coffee shop, and then I grew the business from there.
Take us back to that moment, because we all know once we're in business, there's that sort of start-up period, you know, where it's almost like until the ball starts rolling, there's like that lull period where it gets so daunting and you don't know if it's going to work or not. What were the emotions at that point, and like how did you overcome it? Because a lot of people give up, let's be honest. 99% of people, or at least 98% of people, they get to that point, it's not going to work, and they just throw the cards, they throw the towel in and they give up.
Yeah, it's so true. I still remember the moment when I first started up, because I had a lot of pressure from like the company that I left. Like there was non-compete clauses, they were sending me legal letters that I couldn't start up a business. And obviously I had pressure because I had a mortgage. I just got my first house. And I was sat, it was Cafe Nero, and I had my laptop and it was literally blank. So I had no clients, no candidates, no like website, nothing. And it was like, where do I start? And it was very overwhelming at the start because I put a lot of pressure on myself because I wanted to achieve so much greatness. So again, like what I did was, it was hard. Like I remember it was quite anxious at the start because it's like, it's all on me now. Like there's no systems in place. There's no way to generate leads. There's so much to learn in business. And that's why a lot of people quit. And I think you've got to have a real underlying like drive and reason why you want to achieve something in life, because it is really testing at the start. But then obviously it did get a little bit easier. I think the more that you get through that barrier, then you do get a few lucky breaks, like once you put in the work.
Yeah.
But I'm so thankful for those moments because like I was under pressure. Like back then it was very stressful. And I think a lot of people probably would have quit because it's an easy out just working for someone else as opposed to working for yourself. It's a different kind of pressure. But like I use that as a motivator to achieve.
Yeah, those moments really shape who you are, don't they? They're the ones that like, it's like the make or break, isn't it? It's like you're either going to push through and succeed, or you're just going to throw the towel in and just give up. But you know, then tell us, you know, you live in Dubai right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so you started your recruitment agency in the UK, I believe, and then you've kept running it throughout, and then you've obviously transitioned to a warmer country. So tell us about the journey of like traveling and stuff and being able to be free with what you're doing.
Yeah, I think even when I started my business, Joe, I always wanted freedom. So I wanted, firstly, you need to get financial freedom. So that's like making sure that you've got a certain amount of money that'll cover your lifestyle, overheads and expenses. And you want to obviously, the end goal is to try and get that passively as opposed to like having to work for it. But I always made sure I built the business from a systems thinking methodology in terms of I didn't want to work in the business day to day long term. So I always made sure that I could use some automation, virtual assistants, systems in the business that were repeatable in order so it didn't rely on me having to work 50, 60 hours a week. And don't get me wrong, like the first 1 or 2 years I did, but over time, like once I built out a team, that gave me more freedom. And then I could have more freedom to travel and do holidays. And then, yeah, like 18 months ago, it was in lockdown. So obviously with the pandemic, a lot of governments try to control you with different things. And me being typical me, like I wouldn't adhere to those rules. So I always like found different ways to navigate to get out of the country.
Yeah, of course.
So every pandemic I wasn't in the UK, I was like either in Greece, Dubai or wherever I could be.
Yeah, I think we both actually travelled around the same time because I ended up moving to Marbella just after just like June, July of lockdown 2020. And then obviously I stayed there for a few years. And then I actually moved to Dubai like 1 year ago from now. But it's such an interesting transition, isn't it? Like when you come out of the UK and you come to somewhere like Dubai, it's hard to comprehend how different the two cities and the two places are from each other. But what do you like most about Dubai comparing it to anywhere else that you've been in the world?
Yeah, it's a good question, and I do get asked this a lot. But I think one of the biggest things with Dubai is it's great for entrepreneurs because it's a fast-growing economy, but also like a country. So they're always, whenever I go away and come back to Dubai, something's changed. Something's improved. It's always improvements. Even when it's like the roads, the pavements, like the buildings, like new things popping up, opening up, like something that you would spot maybe in the UK, it wouldn't get dealt with for 5 years. With Dubai, it's just done overnight. And I love that because it's like a growth-centric mindset, and that really complements entrepreneurs well. Because when I'm in Dubai, I'm more motivated because there's so much growth around me and you can't pause or stop.
No.
It's just non-stop. And it's very good if you want to really grow and be successful and make a lot of money, then Dubai's the best environment to be in, because the same as, maybe we'll touch on this, is like you are the average of the 5 people you hang around with most in terms of friendship groups. And I've really, as throughout my journey, I've always upgraded my peer group. And I've got a great bunch of friends in Dubai that are all ultra successful as well, and we help and motivate each other. And that's the same in actually being in Dubai. It really motivates you to want more and do more.
Well, that's what I was going to touch on. You know, you have built a great network of friends and stuff around here, and you know, it comes to a point in life where you discard the people that aren't bringing you any value anymore, the people that are bringing you down, and they attract negative energy. And you know, how have you found these people? You know, I'd like to know that. You know, for someone that's coming over, you know, might be an entrepreneur like yourself, like how do you find these people to network with?
Yeah, good question. So I'll rewind back. So like when I started my own business, I always wanted to be around other mentors. And that's like, obviously you've got paid mentors and free mentors. So like paid ones might be online or where you go to masterminds and learn from. And I invested a lot of my money in that. But also because like it comes back to, you've got to provide value to someone else. So you've got to upgrade your skill set and knowledge. So like I would read a book a week for a long time, 4 or 5 years. And I always, because when I met other people, I had some value I could bring, whether it was like sales, marketing, mindset, or different ways of like making money or business. Like there was, whether it's playing golf or like, there's always like you can navigate around different people that you meet, how you can add value and how you've got some commonalities with them. So that were like rolled into like a lot of mentors I met for free. Some of my friends now are worth between 60, 80 million, some over 100 million. And I would play golf with them or go to the football with them and add value. So that skill set like I learned around, and they were all older than me. So like some of these guys were like 40, 50. So you've got to have, like there's a book called by Dale Carnegie, like How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yeah, I've read that book.
And it's a simple book, it's a good book, and it's all around like, you've got to be able to like read someone else and be able to like sort of, I think I'm very good at adapting with different type of people, whether they're young or old or like how wealthy or what their interests are. And that transpired into like when I came to Dubai, I think it's easier the more successful you are because you've got credibility. So you've got to like, if you haven't got that, then you've got to have at least the drive and ambition.
You've got to earn your stripes, haven't you? You know what I mean? You've got to, you know, these people, like you say, they might be at a level of success where people are approaching them all the time. Now, unless you can actually
100%.
bring some genuine value to their life, then they're probably not going to waste their time with you. It's not saying that people are just going to brush you off because they think they're more successful and rich and they don't want to hang around with people that aren't like that. But you know, if you're showing somebody that you're willing and committed to work or bring some added value and show that you're that kind of person, then that's how you get into these groups. And I guess that question was sort of aimed at, you know, there are a lot of entrepreneurs that are now, you know, have developed through COVID online and stuff, and people now have more freedom to travel, but still people are on the fence about moving to Dubai.
Yeah, but I think like, obviously going back to the reasons why I moved to Dubai, there was so many reasons. The pros far outweigh the cons. And I think at the start, like particularly coming from the UK, it was like 50-50. Obviously the number one advantage for most people, like in my position, is the tax advantages.
Yeah,
Let's not lie about that. Like I'm getting paid to live here, basically, to live this lifestyle because the tax savings. Once you get to a certain level in terms of like your profitability of your businesses and what your net worth is and the money that comes in, then it's always a no-brainer. So the tax was like an advantage, yes, but I didn't really move for that. It was the environment. Environment is the most important thing if you want to really be successful, is having sun every day, being able to go to the beach, having the luxuries around you where you can go to an abundance of coffee shops or restaurants or lunches, and being around other successful people or people that are like you and you want to be like. All of these at your fingertips in Dubai are like the biggest advantages, but environment for sure, it definitely increases happiness.
Yeah, and I think as well, like what you just said, you know, about being surrounded by all this, you know, all this greatness, if you would. Like, you see supercars more regularly than you do like anywhere else in the world, and it almost just becomes like, you know, oh, there's a Lamborghini, oh, there's a Ferrari, but it almost drives you, doesn't it? Like, it's things like, it almost just like, you know, it feels like it's like so much more reachable. Now, bearing in mind, guys, James does own a Lamborghini and a Rolls Royce, but you know, when you're around this kind of environment and you see it every day, it just makes you think that it's actually a lot more achievable.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I think, but again, it's being around, it's an abundance mentality. So like being around abundance all of the time, it is your default. So like, as humans, we always lower our standards to our default position. I used to learn this from one of my old mentors, Dan Pena, the $50 billion man.
Yeah.
And I spent a lot of time, like 8 days in his castle mentorship, like seminar. And it's so true. Like once you you've got to keep raising your standards as a human. And that's like who you knock around with, who your daily habits are, what your environments are. But we always like fall back to that. So like if you imagine you're in an environment in Dubai where it's full of wealth and success, supercars, like amazing villas and apartments, like this is your new norm. Like, and I thought like when I was back in the UK, I grew out of like where I was. So like I was always like wanting to become like who you are now and who you want to be in 5 years is a different person. So we need to always evolve as humans, but with that, the environment needs to come. So one thing I got to a barrier was when I was in the UK, I'd far outgrown like who I had become to where my environment was.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then there wasn't really many people I could surround myself with in the local area because there's not as many ambitious people. And even just being around different environments in the UK where buildings are closing down, recession's hitting, all the shops are shut, there's negativity everywhere, everyone's reading the news or media, so everyone's brainwashed in this like lower mentality frequency, and you really feel that energy.
I was just about to say, you can literally feel it, like when I've gone back for Christmas and stuff, you walk into these cities and it's just, the weather reflects the mood and everything just feels grey and it just brings you down, it makes your energy feel low and you just think, oh, why does anyone like want to live in this environment? And I think it's until you've sort of flicked that switch in your mind where you think, actually, there's so much like more I can do with my life, and then you go and try out these places. Like for anyone, I'm sure you'd agree that's on the fence about moving to anywhere. It's like, don't even think twice about it. Just make sure you've got enough money in the bank and make sure you're driven, and you can talk to people, and you will do all right. Yeah,
like life's got a funny way of like things will work out. Yeah, like if you have a positive mentality, like in the universe, like things will normally 9 times out of 10 are already worked out for you. You've got to put in the work. You can't just like meditate on it and have an abundance and have loads of money in your bank account. You've got to do the work. But yeah, because like I remember when I first moved to Dubai, I was considering that. I was on here on holiday with a previous girlfriend, and I was here for like around about 6 weeks. This was in lockdown the first time, and I loved it. I wasn't even supposed to come to Dubai. I was supposed to go on holiday to Barbados. And then I think a day before, the lockdown hit again, and then there was big COVID restrictions. So I was like, we're not going to go there. So we decided to come to Dubai, and I was like, oh, I won't like Dubai. It's very superficial, it's very fake. Like, people always have these preconceptions, and I was just blown away by the cleanliness, the safety, the weather, the people. It's pretty much like having, it is like, pretty much having like, it's very westernized, like it's pretty much having UK or wherever in a different country. And like it was very surprising to me when I first came, because I was like really taken back by like how much I really enjoyed it.
I think everyone does it. Like even when I went to Marbella initially, when you first move to these places or you go there, you can be blown away by it because we come from such like there's not much going on, is there? Let's be honest, from the places where we come from. So when you come here, it's like it does blow your mind, and you either take it as a positive or you let it eat you alive, because it can eat you alive. Like I've had it where it's like you look around and you almost feel like you're not good enough, or you don't deserve to be in this environment. And it's not until you build that confidence and think to yourself like, all right, I'm going to use this environment to my advantage and really make something of myself in this environment, because this is where it will happen.
Yeah, that's so true. And I think that's what you did when you first started off in video and editing, etc. Like you seen like an opportunity in real estate and you just went for it. I remember we had that conversation and...
Oh yeah, guys, we need to say this. James is one of the main reasons why I got into real estate, because it came to a point where I was working so much in the real estate production that about 5 or 6 people were just talking to me about it. And I said to James, I was like, James, should I make this switch? And he said, yeah, you should. We sat in his house, we talked about it. And 2 weeks later, I'm like, James, I became a real estate agent. And then just the other day, I was like, James, I made a sale. And he was like, boom, there we go. That's how it's done, you know?
So proud of you, man. But that's the thing, though. It's easy to give advice, but do you take it and take action? And you just took action, and you get rewarded for that. And same with doing your first real estate deal, because you put a lot of hard work in over the last few weeks. Like, it pays off.
Yeah, I mean, with anything that you do, if it pays off. And I want to talk, a little bit about, how you've expanded your business. We went from owning a successful recruitment agency, and then I filmed his masterminds. So it's almost like you've walked the walk with your business that much that now that you can almost, you can sell what you've learned. I want you to talk to the people about, how you've gone about that, because there's a lot of people that become gurus in their industry, as you'd say, and then sometimes they just stick at it, but then it's like, what's the next step? You've took the next step and it's paid off very well.
Yeah, thanks for that. So I think you always reach a point where you've mastered something. And I think with me starting my own agency, it's been 7-8 years now. Like I've got to a point, like after like around 5 years, look, I've been there, done that, I've proven it. Like I've built it from zero to doing like $1.5 million a year. And it consistently did that for 4 or 5 years. And I've built a team that is self-sufficient where I don't actually have to work in that business at all. Apart from checking Slack and maybe a couple of team meetings, it pretty much runs itself. So basically, it was lockdown. So like 2 years ago, I realized like I've got a skill set that I've developed and I've managed to master, and why can't I teach other people to do the same? And I learned so much from mentors. So I've spent, I think, easily over $250,000, probably more, in terms of mentors, masterminds, programs, courses, and I still do. Even this year alone, I've spent over $170,000. I was looking because I'm always looking for these golden nuggets that can take me an extra 5 mil, 10 mil, and I think it's always looking for those unfair advantages. And so then I started teaching what I know and do. Yeah. And so far we've had like over 500 agency owners go through our program or mastermind. I think we've created like around about 20 millionaires and at least over 200 people that are earning 6 figures plus.
It's amazing. So you can successfully say that you've created millionaires, because I see, when I was actually filming the course, people were asking all these questions like, James, we've scaled our business from like 20K a month to 100K a month. And it's just like...
Yeah, and it's a different reward for me, because when you're helping someone and you see that success, that gave me more buzz than me getting success, because like I've been there, done that. So there's like no like you don't get the buzz of your first deal that you get now. When you do 1,000 deals, it's not going to be the same buzz as that one. Yeah, and the same one when you do a really big deal, when you close like a $10 million deal, it's going to be different. Yeah, the first time is going to hit great, but over time, there's no better reward than seeing other people be successful from your teachings and methodologies and mentorship. So it was like I came from being like the mentee to the mentor type of thing. Yeah,
I know, and it's such a step to take, because it could have gone both ways. You could have tried it and it could have failed, but you've clearly walked the walk to give people the trust for you to actually go and to support them and actually make them money, which is amazing. So I want to talk to you a little bit about investing now. It's a subject that we've all heard at the start of the year. Everyone was crypto millionaires at the start of the year, and that kind of like went a bit south for most people. But recently, since I've been in property, I'm really keen that I'm going to get invested in property this year for sure. And what about yourself, James? Like, what are you going to do?
Good question. Yeah, so you do meet a lot of these crypto gurus out in Dubai. There's a lot of them, and some have been really successful. And I think they fall into two buckets. So the ones that just got lucky, they took the risk though, so they got the reward. But the hard part is, and I'm really thankful for my journey, because I started from nothing and then made 100K, then 250K, then 500K, then $1 million, then 2 million, and onwards and my lifestyle improved, environment improved. But when you're going from like 100K to 10 million that you make on crypto because you put the money in a coin, and then suddenly you've got all this wealth, you don't know what to do with it. The big problem is then all of a sudden you went from zero to hero, 0 to 100, and you've missed all of the steps in the journey and the hard work, blood, sweat and tears and ups and downs, etc. So then they haven't developed a skill set. So what happened with the crash is all of these people who lost their money, what they're going to do? Like they've got so accustomed to having this big lifestyle and they've lost a lot of money, they haven't got any skills apart from knowing what the next altcoin is or a bit of crypto trading. And I feel sorry for a few of them because they're going to struggle to like get in the real business world. And one fortunate thing that I had was I have 2 cash flowing businesses that both generate me 7 figures that I can fall back on. So if one doesn't work, one isn't doing well, the other one is, and it complements each other. So it spreads the risk. And I actually fell into crypto like around about 2 years ago. I got into it, but I was very reserved where I would only put like 10% of my net worth, 15% of my net worth in crypto. And I got stuck in the lunar crash. So I lost like around about $350,000 from Luna and UST, it was at the time. And yeah, that sort of put a little bit of a scar on, but I'm glad I learned from that lesson. You take the loss, because not everything pays off. And I still have some crypto, but I would only really stick to Bitcoin and Ethereum. I'm not going to start speculating in all coins and markets because it's not like what I specialize in. So I would rather have other businesses that I can add value and I know what my skill is. Because you can't really control that market. But yeah, like the big plan for me now is, like I still have commercial properties in the UK, but the main focus now is going to be real estate over the next few months. So a lot of my portfolio will go into purchasing property in Dubai, maybe some more in the UK, but I think Dubai's got a really good return both for like the rental yields longer term, like maybe Airbnbs, etc. is what I'm going to look at buying some apartments, whether it's the ones that are built now or the off-plan ones. I know you make a lot more money if you buy off-plan now in 3-4 years and mature.
It really depends on, you know, how quickly you want to start like seeing a return on investment. Of course, the off-plan projects are more of a, you know, they're a safe option if you get it in the right area, because there are a lot of off-plan developments that are being built, you know, like, you know, they just keep going backwards and backwards into the desert. So there's an abundance of developments, and if you pick the wrong ones, I can imagine you're probably going to lose a bit of money. But if you pick the right ones in the right areas, like on the beachfront where you're living, let's be honest, they're not going to like depreciate in value. Anything near the water is going to just keep appreciating. So going forward, James, what's your plan? Are you going to stay in Dubai?
Yeah, for sure. Like I'll definitely be here at least like 4 to 5 years more. I don't think I'll ever move back to the UK fully. Like now I've had a taste of, because I came back to the happiness point, like money can, they say like, does money buy happiness? Like people don't know where to shop or that they're not rich. Like, because if happiness wasn't attached to money, then why do we have all these millionaires, billionaires keeping the money? They can just give it away and still be happy. They're not going to be happy. But up to a certain point, the happiness decreases. So I think it plateaus around about 150k a year, 200k a year. After that, like the studies have shown, like the happiness doesn't increase at all. It just gives you more choices and freedom. And the fact is, you have more choices in life. Like I can go on holiday anytime I want. I can go here, there, or I can move around if there's any restrictions. But going back to the point of investment, I think it's important to spread your risk. So like, I wouldn't be all in on property. I wouldn't be all in on crypto. I love my watches, so I've got like a big watch collection. I like my cars. So I've got
probably a good
cars.
time to buy watches now, isn't it? With the watches.
Yeah, because they've took a dip. So like my collection has always went up. So I've made a lot of profit on it. And I'll always keep buying watches because they are a liquid asset. So you can liquidate them straight away if you need cash. You can travel with them around the world. I can have like 100k on my wrist or 250k Patek or Richard Mille or whatever on your wrist, and you can travel around the world. And you can enjoy them every day as well. But you can probably only enjoy them in Dubai now because
you're just
places in London or wherever your watch is gone. And this is a big thing that I'm seeing, a big trend. I think even over the next 6-12 months, Joe, is going to be more and more millionaires are coming to Dubai because safety is the number one thing. Like there's no price you can put on your safety, particularly as you start to get wealthy, because in your subconscious mind, you might be looking over your shoulder if you're somewhere else. Is that person looking at me? Are they targeting me? They target them all on Instagram and find out where they are and etc. So in Dubai, like we're very blessed to have like really exceptional safety. So I couldn't speak more highly of Dubai and the rulers of Dubai and how they've built this city is exceptional.
It's incredible, isn't it? Okay, James. So tell us, there must be something. What don't you like about Dubai?
It's hard, but like, because there's pros and cons with everywhere you live, but the pros far outweigh the cons in Dubai. I would say like a little thing would be, which is quite funny, is like the showers. So like the water in Dubai, I think from what I've been told is like shower water. The shower water is from the sea. So it's very high salt water. So it dries the skin out. And for me, like styling my hair, it's a bit annoying because it goes frizzy and whatever. But it's a little thing. Like these little things are different compared to, say in Europe or whatever, like maybe the beaches are a little bit different. Probably a little bit of rain wouldn't go amiss, would it? Yeah. But we can't complain because I would rather be in the sun every day. You can go back to the UK or whatever you want, a bit of winter over Christmas. But maybe like the dating scene's a little bit different here in Dubai, like for girls and guys. It's a lot more, I would say, a little bit more transactional. So I think it will be harder to meet someone in a long-term relationship from what I've seen in Dubai, because everyone is just living the great life and just absorbed in this like bubble. Yeah. So I think that might be a little bit more tricky for certain people.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, like apart from that, like there's just so many pluses with Dubai. I wouldn't even say there is many cons because. But what I would say is there's an entry level. You can't just suddenly come here if you've got no job and 20k savings.
It's not like, like you said, you can't just, it's not like you can't go just get entry level jobs. You don't come and be a waiter or a barman. It's not like that. Maybe in Europe, you'd get minimum wage, but those jobs are taken up by different nationalities. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, I wouldn't say there's like too many cons to the place, because also you've got the freedom to travel. So you don't, like say in the summers, like I spent in Saint-Tropez, London and Bali, so I don't need to be in Dubai when it's really hot.
No.
So that's probably, one of the downsides is in the summer it gets hot where it's probably unbearable for some. But that's okay, because most people that come here would want to be away in the summer anyway and travel. So.
Awesome. So I've got one last question, which I like to ask everybody. So it's obviously about this world economic crash that everyone's predicting is coming. Where do you think Dubai stands within the crash?
Yeah, interesting. I was speaking to a lot of my friends about this, and because I'm sitting quite cash heavy at the minute in terms of my risk. So a big percentage of my investment portfolio is cash, because I want to be ready to take advantage of the economic crisis, as most people that get really wealthy got rich in the downturn in terms of economic crashes. So I'm just biding my time with that. But it's one of these catch-22 situations where I've been waiting to buy property in Dubai, and I'm like, oh, well, we will wait for it to crash. And that's going to be less likely, I think, in Dubai now, because I think even the next few months, with all of these different things going on in the world, more people are going to flood to Dubai. And I think they can't build property quick enough to facilitate that. I've noticed that in my place. I think in terms of AD currency, my apartment's 6 million or something, maybe 7, but it's went up by 20% just in the last 4 or 5 months. So because the demand far outweighs the supply. So I think Dubai is going to be pretty much the only city in the world, I think, that will not be impacted as much. Because if you think the amount of millionaires and people that are worth 10 million plus that are in Dubai, they're not going to stop spending, and they're not going to not make money. A lot of these people got there for a reason, because they're successful and they've got the mindset to get there. So I think it's not going to crash as much, which is biding me more to think I should just buy property now as opposed to waiting in 6 months. But I might just go in maybe with 1 or 2 apartments first, and then wait till probably February, March next year and see how everything's going.
Yeah, I mean, I agree exactly with your statement. Just sort of drip feeding your wealth into it rather than just going all in and throwing all your money at it. You might want to see what's happening. I mean, there's a huge demand for luxury property, especially you say, the richest people in the world are moving here, and they're not going to live in a 1-bedroom apartment out in the desert. They want the best villa on the Palm Jumeirah, or best villas in Emirates Hills or Dubai Hills, and that's what's kind of happening. So James, listen, it's been super interesting to sort of pick your brains today, and I hope everyone's enjoyed it. Have you got anything else you want to add to somebody that's maybe thinking about coming to Dubai, and give them that little push of motivation?
Yeah, I would definitely say just do it, because I watched a few YouTube videos about moving to Dubai and trying to learn from different people. And what I would say is come here first, for a holiday, but treat the holiday as if you were living here. So probably the trick I would do is, the first time I did it was hotels, but the second time I did it was Airbnb apartments. I would recommend coming here with an Airbnb and trying out a couple of areas. And I would say if you're earning a certain amount of money and you've got the flexibility where you live in a remote lifestyle, you've got businesses that you can just do remotely, it's absolute no-brainer, because you've got nothing to lose, because it's tax-free, sunny every day, it's a great environment. So I would say just do it.
Amazing. Well, listen, guys, I hope you enjoyed the podcast. If you've got any questions, please leave them below, and me and James will be happy to answer them. Hope you all enjoyed it, and everyone, see you all again soon. Thank you, James.
Cheers, man.